Hello, people at home watching us on Twitch. Welcome to another episode of the Squawk and Steve podcast. First and foremost, welcome to something new that we're trying today. I apologize if things look a little scuffed right now, but we tried to throw this together last second to kind of strike while the iron's hot. So we appreciate you guys sticking with us through some technical difficulties. I'm Koopa, or Kyle, and I'm joined, as I am every week, by my co-host and friend, Mr. George Fabre. George, how you doing, buddy?
Yo, dude, it's actually really weird because I'm watching on Twitch right now and it's delayed, so it's like really freaking me out, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the chat widget for the chat widget is not working at the moment, but I just want everyone to know that's yapping at home that we do. I see you on my end, so
I see Oat Milk Girly. What's up, Bella? I see
What's up, Bella?
Zucchini Boy in the house. We got a lot of cool things to talk about, so.
And Mr. Harrell, Mr. Tex 1994, Mr. Harrell with the we're echoing per Harrell. It says that we're echoing. I don't hear an echo on my end, so that's not good. Let me see if I can fix this. Hold on one second. I don't hear an echo on my end.
I don't hear.
But let us know. Let us know how we sound if we're coming in too hot. No echo. Okay, maybe Harrell's just stupid. So.
Maybe Harrell's just echoing.
Shout out to the sub though.
Yeah.
Shout out to the $5. Beach.
Yeah, I don't. So how do I get some of that money now? Is it just you keep it all?
Yeah, no, this is authoritarian. I'm keeping all the money. So.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fine.
What up, Becca? Thanks for stopping by. Hello, everyone. It's the first time I've gone live on Twitch, also all year. So it's been like a few months since my last stream, but. Yeah, I'm excited to give this a try today. We're fresh off of the Atlanta Regionals, which George was attending. George, before we get into how your weekend went, and at any point during your run this weekend, did you think about ditching everything and go watching the Masters live?
Yeah, multiple times. And you know what? Like, not only did I want to ditch the tournament, I just wanted to ditch my deck in general. Maybe just throw it in. I don't even know what Atlanta has to offer to throw it in, but maybe like the aquarium that we went to. I don't know. Dude, like, it was just I nothing I could ever imagine that happened in the tournament that I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, George started the day. If I had a nickel for every podcast host on this stream right now that started a Pokemon tournament 003, I'd have 2 nickels. Because George and I... Hi, Mariel. My girlfriend's watching, so everybody say nice things about me. So she's on the clock and watching, but thanks for swinging by. Is Harrell? Oh, that's still Harrell's text message. I'm ignoring him.
Yeah, don't answer him.
Yeah, so you started. So George started 003 to start his weekend. I've also been in draw hell, where you're just in the tie bracket and you're not quite sure how you feel. So it's a rough. It's rough. But before we get into the nitty gritty, I can't start the podcast without asking how your week's going, buddy. So how are you doing?
I was wondering when you're gonna ask. I was like, this guy's rude.
I know this is weird. And the whole my whole feng shui has been thrown off here. I don't I have autism, George. I don't deal well with change, so like this is very hard for me, but I'm doing okay.
I told you, I believe in you. I knew we would get it done. Listen, the formatting needs to get a little bit better. We were up late last night trying to figure it out, so we
no, it's fine. We figured it out. So,
but my day was a regular Tuesday. It was really boring, actually, and nothing really notable. I did actually go out with a new today, and they were pretty cool. He was actually probably more Jersey than I was, which, like, usually I don't get out Jerseyed when I meet somebody, but he was Jersey to the fullest. So, but how was your day, brother? How'd it go in Mr. Koopa's world?
Mr. Koopa's world was all right. I had to be acting manager at my job today because my boss was dealing with some personal stuff today, so I was in charge for a large portion of my day, and it was pretty boring. I cleaned out a coffee pot. That was cool. A lot of talking with stupid customers. A lot of talking with really stupid people on the phone. I love my job sometimes, but yeah, we're doing okay. And I do what I usually do every post regional weekend is that I'm just saving every single deck list I find online in my camera roll, and something that we wanted to mix up how we do the show, at least right now, is that we wanted to kind of hit the ground running, talk about Atlanta. We're fresh into our first Pokemon tournament, post rotation, post V-Stars, post V-Star markers. Did you ever at any point feel naked, like not putting a V-Star marker out on your board?
Never. I didn't think about it once. Also, I played Guardy, so like you never had a V-Star marker really anyway.
You played Charizard. Shut up. Who do you think you are?
I'm a Guardy bot now, man. I told you Guardy was going to do good. Everybody said I was crazy. Everybody said the deck wasn't good and stunk, and you know what? You guys all stink. So
yeah, Sky Sealstone, bro. Don't forget about that era. Man, what a
Sky Sealstone was never a thing, and you're tripping if you thought it was.
That card was kind of sick for a hot second. Back when taking multiple prize cards is like a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you proc it on the turn you attack, and then you take an extra prize card. The Pokemon you knock out. Gardevoir is literally the only deck that could use it.
Yeah, it was Iron Hands before Iron Hands, right? But
before we were a country, so.
Before we were a country, yeah. I mean, like, listen, the tournament started off for me. I played a Raging Bolt. Usually it's pretty free. This guy, listen, I get very antsy when people play slow. Could you imagine my thoughts? Like, I don't know how we got in a tie when they were playing Raging Bolt. Like, there should have been nothing. I probably should have scooped game 2, but, like, I felt like I was much better than the player and that I could still scoop it out, and that was my fault. Round 2, I played a Zoroark, and Zoroark, very unfavored for Gardevoir. It's literally the worst matchup. I won game 1, so it was only natural that we were going to tie because, to win game 1, I had to take, I think it was like a 30-minute game. Not as long as Henry Chow just been doing for 50 turns in the finals, but
we'll talk about it.
And then game 3 to start 0-0-3, played a Goldengo, and on game 2, I thought I was playing very well. Hit me with a counter catcher, jamming tower combo that I probably could have played again around a little bit better. Used Monkey Dory to not let that happen, but it is what it is, man. Finished 2-2-4, which has got to be one of the ugliest records of all time.
Ugly record for an ugly looking guy, that's for sure.
Yeah, ain't that the truth, bro?
Yeah, that's tough. Tough start to the weekend. Again, as someone that's been in like the trenches of the tie bracket, it just kind of feels weird, especially when you tie like you haven't won, you haven't lost, but you're just kind of sitting there, just like I don't know what to do with my hands. It's just like you feel awkward, like it's. Yeah, literally. So, obviously, a rough start to your weekend. But talk about like the actual venue experience. How was the venue? How was the location? You got in kind of late on Friday, so did you get to do any of like the fun stuff in Atlanta? Like, did you get to do anything fun?
Yeah, we went to the aquarium on Sunday, which I'll be honest with you, like I've been to a Baltimore aquarium and I've talked about my love for the Baltimore aquarium a lot, and I'll say the Georgia Aquarium was 10 million times better than the Baltimore Aquarium. There were sharks, there was whale sharks, there were fish, there were sea lions. Dude, me and Andrew saw the sea lion show, and we're like, dude, let's not make a big deal about this because like some other people missed it. But dude, it was so sick. It was so sick, dude. Like we got so lucky. Like we walked in and they're like, "Yeah, show's starting soon." They were singing. I swear to God, it was incredible.
Wow.
Honestly, the sea lions were the peak of the weekend. But other than that, we went out on Saturday night. Went to some cool bars that actually Andrew's sister suggested. They were very cool. They got to see how good I am at darts, actually. I always say that I'm really good at darts. And then I hit bullseye 3 times and 3 darts twice. So they were like, yeah, George is kind of busted at darts. Which, yeah, if I was as good at darts as I am Pokemon, this stream would probably look a lot better and we'd be making money off of it.
Hey, man, we're we're trying our best. But at least you're able to enjoy the weekend, to some capacity. As someone that was watching from home all weekend, I will say it felt very different. The lack of V stars definitely kind of reared its ugly head. But at the same time, it felt very familiar. It was, I guess we can now kind of talk about how things broke down, and I'm all this information is out on Limitless. I can try to set up a display capture so that way I can show everything here, but I'm gonna pull it. This is the beauty of doing live television, everybody. But yeah, so pulling up the PokeStats Twitter here. I can so I'll talk a little bit about the meta breakdown. I think this is a good opportunity for us to kind of talk about like what we got right and what we got wrong. What we were way off on, what we were way right on. Looking at the meta, though, I think, we didn't really talk about it much in the podcast, but I think we were all kind of thinking it. Dragapult was going to be very popular, as it was. Also, shout out to Bradley hopping through into Twitch chat, here for the live show. What's up, brother? Thanks for popping in. Day one deck, the deck meta. Dragapult, not surprised to see that at the top, 16% of the meta. What I am surprised about is that Goldengo is the second most popular deck. I think I severely underplayed how popular of an archetype that would be. Even though as someone that like really likes the deck, I still thought Raging Bolt would have been a little bit more well positioned, and maybe Terrabox also might have just like slightly squeaked it out there. But and I guess Andrew brings up a good point. They did group the Dengo variants because there are like a few different ways to play the deck. But I was kind of surprised to see it played in that heavy of troves. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it kind of is what I expected when we look at the meta share from day one. Tropicos was in there, but you're not seeing which Tropicos deck it really was. I think the Bouffalant variant was really there. Goldengo, there was a couple Dragapult ones. But again, you can't really tell from the graphic what different variants they were. The big flop was Raging Bolt, not converting in day two really at all. Terrabox, there was a few that made it through, but for the most part, I don't think it performed as well as everybody thought it would. And then no surprise there, like Dragapult having the biggest meta share in day one and then converting in day two, especially when we saw the top 8 with 6, out of the 8 there.
Yeah, I think the lack of Raging Bull kind of just falling off a cliff was very surprising to me. And even more surprising, Gardevoir going from a 7% meta clip, pretty good, converting as well as it did into, top cut and beyond. And Dragapult, obviously, rising numbers is also, that's going to shoot to the top, with literally going through Limitless, every, 8 or so entries in a row are just Dragapult Dust North. That deck is just so well positioned. But yeah, I'd say this is I'd say a good template as for to what if you're going to Milwaukee, you can see what things are going to look like going forward. And all of it coming to a heat in what I think is probably one of the best finals I've watched in a Pokemon regional in a while, both in terms of just level of play, but also in terms of just the name recognition. The thing about the Pokemon TC, it's funnily enough that Atlanta fell on the Masters weekend, but I to my friends that don't play Pokemon, I describe it to them a lot like golf, where it's usually the really good players are always going to kind of be in the mix, but every so often, every so weekend, someone can get really hot and then play, way above their weight class and go on a deep run. But most of the time, it's very hard to be consistently good in a game with so much variance. And we got a finals between Andrew Hedrick, who was looking to win his second straight regional after winning Vancouver, and was previously 4-0 when he reaches regional finals. One of the best players in the post-COVID era, going up against Henry Chow, looking for his third regional win of the season, and it ended in Henry coming out on top for that regional win number 3. So George, I'll give you your flowers. You were on the Guardy train for going into the weekend. So what did you think of the finals?
I mean, like I wasn't really correct. I mean, playing it with Enzorark, like, definitely
That,
was, I think, a move that only Henry Chow can figure out.
Now, granted, Isaiah Bradner was the one that was like the brain behind the deck, and they both
Yeah,
played the same
that is
thing.
true.
So Henry just happened to go the farthest with it, but still, amazing. Like we all you needed to do is give Gardevoir a draw engine, and suddenly it's still able to replicate those same results. So
It's really funny too because, like, I think Matt Tam was saying it again in our group chat. They're like, but if George cooked up something with Enzorark and Guardy, we just all shit all over him. Been like, this guy's an idiot.
in which
But
I replied, they laughed at Jesus too. So I mean, I'm just saying.
yeah,
So
I mean, it's funny though because those were the two decks I was really contemplating going in to the tournament was Enzorark and Guardy. Never thought to combine them together, but it does make sense, right? Like you lose refinement, you just add trade. It's kind of goes hand in hand. Um, I think Secret Box was always the call for the deck. I remember there were some haters too when I was saying it, like, you got to play Blender. How are you getting a discard? I mean, you can get it out regardless. I think the Morty's conviction might have been the difference for Henry because he played that and Isaiah didn't. I think Morty's conviction is actually a broken supporter right now in any deck, especially with all like the area zero underdepths that are being played. Um, you know, drawing 8 cards when you have a full bench with area zero just for discarding 1 is pretty broken. And like that's like kind of the problem that I felt all day with research. There were so many times I'm like, I got to research here, and I know that here, I know that I'm losing a bravery charm. I know that I'm losing a rare candy. I don't know if I want to do this, but ultimately, if you don't, you're just not playing the game. So I think Morty's was a better call. You kind of keep track of your resources a little bit better in Gardevoir like that. That being said, I think Tropico's Buffalon was like my call, and it was doing very well. Like anybody that like in our group when we played against, they're like said they played it against Tropico's Buffalon. Even said like that deck is really hard to manage.
yeah,
Tropicos can't swing for a lot, but when it has 340 HP, it's kind of a pain in the ass.
yeah. That deck converted pretty decently. I only really highlighted the one that made top 8 with Keaton Gill. Asymmetric cut, but it's still finishing in the 8th place spot. But all over the place too. Also, shout out to Hunter Smith, South Jersey resident. And Luke. Luke also a former regional champion a couple years ago. Luke finished in top 32 and Hunter finished in top 16. But Hunter was playing the Tropicos box, the Tropicos Buffalon deck that also caught a lot of fire going into the weekend. And I think when a deck like that kind of picks up steam like that, it's safe to anticipate that you're probably going to see a decent amount of it. And
Yeah.
it was all over the place. But yeah, again, like I think a lot of people were looking at Gardevoir like, no, like this deck. Yes, the pieces that it lost were pretty tough, but I made a meme of it too, of like that one episode of South Park where Randy Marsh gets in a fight in the Little League game, where it's just like I didn't hear no bell yet. Gardevoir is a lot like the Liquid Terminator, where it's like all it really needs to do is retool. It feels impossible to take this deck down with just how broken of ability Psychic Embrace is, and that you still have some of the best array of attackers to take advantage of that. So
Green Tail's so busted, dude.
good card.
And yeah, in Lily's Clefairy, like I think I said it on a few, podcasts. I think it was, and we kind of went over what we thought the best cards were. Turns out, Monkey Dory, still really good. Turns out, Badoo, still really good. turns out Liz Clefairy is going to be a problem in the meta moving forward. Fez, obviously, really good card. I think Mew EX, personally, in Gardevoir is by far the unsung hero, especially going to Dragapult, being able to copy Phantom Dive, knocking out Dragapult, spreading damage. It's really busted. But again, I want to go back to just Secret Box because I think Henry won a lot with Secret Box. I think he used the first time we saw it in Guardy was with the Baltimore Regional, and we were like, Secret Box with Bravery Charms. Who would have thought this was the way to play Guardy? Bravery Charming the Ralts and using it that way. But then when we looked at Andrew Hendrick's list, what I thought was a really cool inclusion is Luxurious Cape. I would have never thought of that ever. But Luxurious Cape on Badoo really busted. It's a couple of games that I won. I was Bravery Charming my Badoo, and I'm I'm just gonna sit here and wait and keep moving it off a monkey. And it was it gets out of a lot of way for fan roam and a lot of different things. So it's just at the end of the day, Guardy is back. I wonder what the uptick is going to be moving forward in the Milwaukee Regional. It's not an easy deck to play. It's not for the faint of heart. You can't just pick up Guardy and say, "Oh, this just won a regional. I'm going to play it because it's a good deck."
You can. It's just going to be hard. That deck is the skill floor there is different. It's a deck I don't play for a reason. It's too much thinking. Yeah, all that's really good points. I thought the Luxurious Cape was great technology in the Dragapult deck, and you saw a lot of games where it's just I'm gonna, like you said, I'm gonna put a cape on my Badoo, have fun trying to go around it under item lock. And you really saw the cat and mouse game in that finals. Obviously, that game one was kind of hard to watch. Hard to watch if you're a casual fan, watching Henry sit behind Badoo and then watching Andrew just use Recon Directive twice, pass this turn back over, because he knows if he starts trying to accelerate a prize race, he's just going to get return knocked out by Mew, which is, again, another wrinkle that this deck has to play around now with the addition of the Clefairy. So it was a very, it was a lot like just watching chess. Honestly, both these guys playing to their outs the best of their ability, and then eventually, Henry just whittling down Andrew's resources, and kind of picking apart his board with Monkey Dory instead. So, and then Monkey Dory's busted. And then that game two, that research heard around the world where he hits quite literally every card he needs. And I gotta say, I know some people on Twitter are going but the board state, that should have been it's shut up. Andrew knew that he had Henry had board on deck, and kudos to everyone just kind of letting that play out, because
you're talking about when he kind of picks up his deck from the discard pile.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that. I was I guess I'm surprised the judges didn't say anything.
I'm kind of glad they didn't, because I think everyone understood. It's just all right, games on the line here. We don't. It's like while watching it, a playoff game in sports. You don't want the officials to be the one that call the game there. Let the players play type of stuff. So
yeah, but it was funny though, because then Andrew Hedrick still made him look at into his discard and be show me the 3 energy first, even after all that.
Sure. Yeah.
Which I was well, you let him get away with that already, and then you're gonna be yeah, show me the 3 energy. What?
Yeah, I think everyone got it there at that point. But that was, again, great stuff, man. And I love the discourse of people being oh man, Henry's taking away 2 auto invites from other people. It's just what are we complaining about here? That is it's insane, man. Andrew was that close again for being a back-to-back regional champion. Henry's won his 3rd of the season. This level of consistency is not easy to achieve. And Henry doing it all again, mostly literally with one deck. I know there was that off weekend he had in EUIC with Goldengo, which I'm sure he would rather not talk about. But both these guys are some of the best and brightest in the game right now, and it was a lot of fun to watch. Like Andrew just said in the chat, it's the flipping the cards was aura. I love that move. That is so sick. It was a really exciting finals to watch. I don't have the brain power to play Dragapult for that many rounds, but I respect the people that can do it. It was a lot of fun to watch.
I think it's pretty obvious though that we can say now, because you actually said it a couple episodes back. You're like, oh, Andrew Hendricks is really like bringing his like name into lights or whatever, and I was like, I think he's already there, pal. I think we could comfortably say those were the two best players in North America going up heads to heads.
Yeah,
and I think possibly for this season was the best finals match we've gotten so far.
Yeah. That was exciting stuff. That being said, though, there was a lot of good stuff to talk about here, and I would like to highlight some other people that did really well. I kind of highlight the other decks and different archetypes that did pretty well. And again, this is a good opportunity for us to kind of see where we missed the mark, both correctly and incorrectly. But I got to give a shout out to Karis Jones, first year master. She finished in 4th place in the standings, and she's been on an absolute tear. Karis is always she's insanely good. Lives in like the Philadelphia, Delaware area. I know she frequents the Safari Zone a lot.
Yeah, Rob keeps trying to get us down to Safari Zone. I'm like, why? Should we just go down there and kick our ass? Like,
yeah, I'm not trying to get my lunch money stolen from me. Like Karis,
let me drive 2 hours to get my ass kicked by her.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, but she's been on a tear, and even like as this season in as a master, she's done really well. But even as like as a senior, lot of great results. 4th place at LISC in 2024, finished in 10th place at NAIC last year as a senior. Finished just a hair outside of top 16 in Sacramento this season. So, again, a lot to feel good about. And again, I've talked to Karis's mom, Amy, a couple of times, and from what I was told on the floor, she was
That's her mom? Amy's her mom?
Yes.
That's like the Pokemon, right?
Yes.
She's like the sweetest, nicest lady of all time.
Oh, she's great.
I played against her a couple times. She's the best.
Yeah. But yeah, good on her. Really making a killing this season. I would imagine she's, it's hard to say lock right now, but we are getting near the end of the season. I'd say, but she did really well. Also played the same 60 as Sebastian Lashmet, another like local player who does incredibly well. Obviously finished in 2nd place at Worlds, a few years ago, and he finished in 6th place. So Dragapult, pretty good, dare I say. Theme of what we're gonna be talking about here.
And I just remember, I will always remember this. Zucchini Boy Andrew himself was playing Terrabox, crashing out, and I said, bro, just play Dragapult. He's like, I want to play Survival Brace. Can you imagine if he showed up with Survival Brace?
I would have left him at home. Just leave him there. You can live with your sister now, bro. Like you can stay there. We'll talk about Andrew when we get there.
Yeah, Unfair Stamp is just busted though. It's so good right now.
Pretty good. We'll talk about Andrew in a second though. Let's highlight some of the highest placing deck variants, George.
Yeah.
So the highest, obviously, Goldengo, the second most played deck in days 1 and 2. So very popular amongst the top tables. Converted okay, I would say. They're the 2 highest placing Goldengo lists. I wanted to highlight one that, like we said, there's like a bunch of different ways to play Goldengo, and we'll talk about them as we keep going forward. But Bodie Robinson finished in the asymmetric 9th, and Grant Manley finished a hair outside of cut at 10th place. Grant playing the Dragapult Goldengo deck, and also playing the same 60 as his teammate Caleb Gettimer and Gabe Smart. Gabe, who just won a regional in Brisbane, and Caleb, who won a regional back in Louisville. So, I'm still, every time I've tried playing, Dragapult Goldango, it just feels kind of clunky. But there are some things in here that the group put in here that I am a fan of, and also just looking at Bodhi's list, just like straight business, man. Just four Goldango, the baby Dengo, an Iron Bundle, and not really a lot of tricks. Just 4 Arven, 4 Cypher. You're getting whatever you're really just kind of cutting all the fluff out of here and just being like, all right, how can I make this as consistent as possible?
Yeah, I played against a similar list like this too. Like Jamming Tower is really Guardy's #1 op, dude. Like that card.
Not just Guardy, that's good for a lot of decks, and I think
I guess it's also good. Well, actually, what else is it good into?
Well, I mean, any decks that want to use Bravery Charms, so any decks that play, there's a bunch of decks out there playing Sparkling Crystal. So, like I said, I mentioned it in the last episode, tool cards are like in such a powerful spot right now because the rotation of Lost Vacuum is huge, where you don't have an item-based way to get rid of tools. So your only tool removal, outside of using an attack, and God forbid why would you want to do that, is Jamming Tower. And I think in Goldango specifically, like a lot of the, I'll talk about a list that I was testing out when we get to the bottom of the page here. But it was like, okay, Jamming Tower, I feel like goes back in this deck if you think that Gardevoir is going to be a hot commodity. And I think Bodhi, kind of chose correct there. That card gives you a fighting chance in the decks like Gardevoir. Again, pretty good. Also opting to play to Levincia. Actually, no, is there a Levincia? No, there's 2 Lightning Energy. So is there a Levincia in here? No, there isn't. Okay. Interesting.
I think they play 2 Lightning Energy because other decks might play Levincia.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah. I think there was a Goldango on stream. I thought I was using Levincia.
Yeah, because there's really no other reason to have it.
Yeah, and I do want to give, Bradley just brought it up, I do want to give a shout out to my GOAT LDF's Goldango deck with the Ceruledge EX, which I found very interesting.
No.
Hey, man, you're not seeing the vision.
You just love Ceruledge, more than anybody should.
He's cool. Let me have this, all right? It's a cool card.
You got it.
You got any thoughts on Dragapult Goldango that we see here from Grant?
Yeah, I think it's really good into Dragapult. So I don't think it's the last that we see of it. Monkey Dory combination with it is also really good because Goldango could kind of tank a hit. Obviously, Dragapult could tank a hit, so damage could get on there, and you can fix a lot of math. I think the double Crispin very necessary though if you play this kind of list because it is kind of hard to attach to Goldango for a turn, attach to Monkeys for a turn, or then also attach to a Dragapult to get it set up. If you need to go pivot into it, the Vengeful Punch, interesting. Obviously, that's going to be Pikachu EX's #1 op moving forward. You had an interesting take about that card. You think one card's a little bit better than that?
I wasn't sure whether the Rocky Helmet or the Vengeful Punch would be a better call here. I think that really depends on how much Terror Box you're expecting to see. And we'll talk about it in a little bit, but Terror Box kind of fell flat on its face this weekend, which I was kind of surprised about. So maybe Vengeful Punch isn't as good. I was listening to LDF's video that he did on his run because he played the Rocky Helmet. A lot of these other Goldango lists are playing the Rocky Helmet. I think the Rocky Helmet gives you maybe some more immediate value because your opponent can't just sit there and Badoo you turn after turn because eventually they're going to knock themselves out with the Rocky Helmet. But the Vengeful Punch does give you a good splashable tool card. To break up the Resolute Heart. So I think that's obviously a flex spot in a lot of these decks, but I've sort of come around to this version of Goldango for a few reasons. Like you said, it's combines a lot of the same aspects of what made Charizard Dragapult a good deck. You have one Pokemon that can that's beefy and can blow things up. And Andrew even said, he's like, yeah, I played against Gedimer on that list, and he said it felt unwinnable, which makes a lot of sense. You just have so much flexibility here. You have 2 really good draw engines in here. But what I also was kind of thinking about when I was looking at this, what I like about this build of the deck, especially with the 2 Crispins, is that you have playable outs to when you prize your ace spec. because when you prize the Energy Search Pro with Goldengo, you might as well just scoop up the game. There isn't a whole lot you can do about that because you don't have a way to get energy efficiently out of your deck to blow stuff up. So at least it's like if you have games where you prize your ace spec, you can then pivot your game plan and like, okay, we're gonna attack with Dragapult, we're gonna set some math up, and then we're gonna try to take 4 prize turns. You're just gonna play a Dragapult deck at that point. So I do like the flexibility that this deck gives you. On top of that, and Grant's like a genius deck builder. He's I think he found a really good one here. I'm a fan of this.
Yeah, if you put Monkey Dory in the deck, I approve. I just think everybody should be playing Monkey Dory at all times. The card is just way too good.
Good card.
That's what it is.
You're seeing these decks and you're seeing Luminous Energy come up in these decks now because Monkey Dory is so good. Like, bro, Monkey Dory's taking me places I wouldn't go without a gun, bro. Like, it's insane stuff. So, but that's the highest place in Goldengo list. We already talked a little bit about the Terapagos deck with Keaton. I would love to talk about EV Box because this is a deck that I've been like playing on the ladder like for funsies. This deck is so much fun, and I thought it was pretty well positioned going into this weekend, and it converted pretty well. Jonathan Means with a top 16 finish at 11th place. The brainchild of San Antonio top 8er Nathan Stratford. With the Flareon, he called it the EV Box deck, but it plays the Sylveon, obviously plays the Lily's Clefairy here to deal with your Dragapult, but more interestingly enough, no Crystal in this deck. You're playing Unfair Stamp. I don't know if you've got a good look at this deck yet, George, but pretty interesting stuff.
I'm looking at it right now. I mean, it's definitely a real deck. It's not cap. It's real. And it only is real because of one attacker in here, and that's definitely the Sylveon.
It's tricky.
Sylveon
for sure.
is so disruptive. It's like, I think it might be one of the most disruptive cards in the format right now. It's absolutely miserable, to be honest. Also, like, I think we're going to start seeing a little bit more of Glass Trumpet counts and Terra Orb played in these decks. Like, the EV being able to evolve on the first turn that it's put down has a lot to it. But also having Glass Trumpet in if you don't have another Terra down, because you're only playing one Terapagos, right? So, like, if I'm able to have, like, the EV-EX down and use Glass Trumpet and attach that way, then also use Crispin to set up, like, a Sylveon, that's pretty freaking busted, dude.
Yeah.
Obviously, Noctowls we're seeing as a very powerful engine. We're seeing Lily's Clefairy. I think if you just kind of add, I don't really think you need Mew EX in here that amount. I mean, I get it's a free pivot, it's a free draw 3 when you get Iono late game, but like, I feel like that's how big can your board really get? At all times. When you're playing Area 0 under depth, you're only playing 2 of them.
Well, I mean, think about what we just talked about with how good the Mew Clefairy combo is in Gardevoir. This deck can easily power these Pokemon up because what I like about the Flareon versus like other Terra Box builds is that Burning Charge attack is still loading up you're still able to do stuff even when you're operating under item lock or whatever. Like, you can still charge up your other attackers. So you can, like, preemptively put some energy on a Mew. You already play Crispin, so you attach, you Crispin the next turn, you get Clefairy, you get Mew in play, and then you can copy a Dragapult attack if you want to go that route, or you can attack with Clefairy itself. Again, like, but that obviously is more bench size dependent. But
why
it just
why
works.
Not play E-Switch then if you want to try to attack with it? I don't think you're attacking with it.
Because you don't need E-Switch, because you just powered up with the Flareon. You punch with the Flareon, and then you
with the Flareon. You're saying, my bad.
Yeah,
misunderstood what you're saying.
Yeah, you punch with the Flareon, you load some energy on it. It's a line. That's what I like about this deck is that you can attack, you can use your Noctowls, but you're still like getting the next thing ready, which I think is very creative. And again, the Sylveon was something. I think Jonathan played on stream one of those days of just like watching his opponent like bench a Blood Moon and try to like preemptively get it set up, and then just watching him like have to shuffle it back in. Item lock was hilarious. Thank God you can't do that turn. You know, you can't do that attack more than once in a row. So that was nifty stuff. I think this deck's going to see a much higher rise in popularity, especially given how Terrabox proper fell flat on its face. So.
Yep, I agree with you. It's going to be a thing. People are going to continue to fine tune it, and I'm really not looking forward to seeing more Sylveon. That card is a miserable card.
But let's talk about something that doesn't make you miserable, George. How about Charizard? Do you want to talk about Charizard?
Yeah, let's talk about Charizard. I love
Charizard is a shiny keys, Charizard EX. Like,
I'll give you a second to pull it up here.
I got it here. Yeah.
Go ahead. You
yes.
Start it off.
So I found this interesting. The highest placing Charizard deck placed higher than the highest placing Terrabox deck at 37th place, operated by Brian Wade. In what is, God, how the mighty have changed. It's Charizard Pidgeot with the 2/2 line of the Dunsparce, a thin package of Dusknoir, a Klefki and a Chi-Yu, and a whole bunch of stuff. So Charizard has changed dramatically. You know, it definitely lost a good chunk of stuff going into rotation. Was already kind of a fringe pick at the twilight of our last format because of how good Dragapult and Regidrago was. And now we kind of see where this deck has gone now. You see Grand Tree that's your ace spec of choice here. There's a Shock in here. There's a Kieran in here. There's a Mist Energy in here to keep your guys from getting Dragapulted, I guess. So, George, as our resident Charizard guy here, how does looking at this make you feel?
Makes me feel sick to my stomach, to be honest with you. This is not the Charizard EX I know. I would never play a list like this. I get that it did well. Everybody has, different ways that they play. I hate the Dunsparce, man. Like, I just don't. I can't get behind the card. Chi-Yu I like. I tested a few, decks with Charizard with that. It's good to knock out,
Goldango.
Goldango. Well, no, it's there for.
And Teal Mask Ogerpon, so.
Teal Mask Ogerpon, when they knock you out, knock out a Charizard with it. You can come back with a one prizer. Klefki also very good. I will say, though, like, me playing Klefki this weekend, it was a late addition in my Gardevoir deck. I barely used it. It really wasn't good.
I think Klefki's kind of a fraud, honestly.
It's really good against Fan Rotom.
Sure.
It's really good against Fan Rotom. I wish I didn't put it in the deck, to be honest.
So does Andrew.
Yeah, it's not that good. It's good against Fan Rotom, but, that's... Really, I guess it does help with Poison Box a little bit, but it doesn't really do what you want it to do anyway. I think I'm happy to see the Dusknoir line still living, but look at this deck, man. You don't think it looks way too clunky?
I mean, I feel like Charizard decks have looked clunky like this forever now. Like you have to sacrifice so much consistency just to squeeze all these guys in there. It just looks like 3 Buddy Poffin. Like, that makes me sick to my stomach. That's insane. It's terrible. But again, you play for the meta in front of you. This deck plays evolution. You try to get your guys on board that way. The Dunsparce gives you some draw. I'm not sure if I'm a huge the Dunsparce believer either. Even though I like drawing cards, I think drawing cards is the golden rule of Pokemon. If you can do that, you probably have a chance to succeed. But interesting to see it take off. Let's see, what else did I have highlighted here? How about Terrabox? The thing that I think we all kind of struck out on as to what was going to be really popular was not as strong as the field maybe made it seem to be here. The highest placing one by Nick Moffitt at 39th place. Let's take a look here. And again, a lot of these lists also look pretty standard. You're going to see the Ditto in there. There is no Teal Mask Ogerpon. I lied. There is. There's 2 of them there. I'm stupid. The way this is lined up is crazy. But yeah, a lot of these lists are going to look the same. There's a Latias, the Mew, the Blood Moon Clefairy, crystal. I guess the jamming tower is interesting technology, but pretty standard list here, George. Why do you think this deck did so poorly?
It's just a fraud, dude. It's just not good. Like, I literally watched, and I'm keep bringing up Andrew. He must feel special, but his winning in game, he went against Terrorbox, which was pretty fitting for his storyline.
He had to kill his past self to get into day 2. So
yeah, like seriously, bro. But his opponent torrential pumped him twice, took 4 prize cards. He still won the game. So
wow.
How are you gonna get torrential pumped twice and that's the best thing the deck does, and you still lose? Like, the deck is bad then. It's just not if you're a good player, sure.
Mike Bio just entered the chat, by the way. What's up, Mike?
Oh, great.
Is that Mike? I think that's Mike.
Now we're really gonna get roasted. But I just think Terrorbox it just doesn't do enough. Yeah, that's really my thoughts. It just doesn't do enough. It's just not a good deck, really. I think a good player can go far with it, like we see here. But I think overall it was a bad call for Atlanta. It just wasn't. Also, only playing 1 fan rotom is bizarre. That's insane. So, I don't know. I don't know how he did so well with this.
2-3-1 weekend with the boy, Michael. What happened, buddy? That's tough. Rough day at the office.
Because he
reached rating bulk.
Because he didn't play Guardy like he should have.
There we go. That's what it was on to. Yeah, the 1 fan rotom is interesting. I don't know. No sense. It's tough, man. Again, I think the knockdown engine is strong, but I think you have to plan so many of these turns out in advance that you're only going to have so many bullets in the chamber to get what you want to do accomplished. And I don't think this deck gets any better position moving forward. I think this deck. I don't know if this deck's even in the top 5 of the good decks moving forward. So I don't know. It's tough. I think the deck is good in a vacuum, but I don't know if the meta is, now that we've seen how things kind of shaken out here. Yeah, it's Michael said he almost played 1 fan too, so it's greedy, but it's a choice.
It's a choice.
How about
most will not be willing to make.
How about Poison Archaladon? Let's talk about that. Highest placing list by Isaiah Chevelle at 12th place. So
I'm pretty sick of these decks. Poison Box is just, I think it's just a cringe. The Poison Package, whatever you want to call it. It's just kind of cringe, man. I'm over them. They're just, if you're not donking, they're really not that good, because now you're just playing Archaladon, which really hasn't been that good.
Well, yes and no. I think Archaladon has been well positioned moving forward. And Isaiah is the brain behind the Trolley Zard, which Mike saw a lot of great success with at the end of last format. So Isaiah is a very, I'm aware of his game. He's an accomplished player, a great deck builder. I actually kind of I agree that the Poison Package is a choice. You do it, but again, it is a game angle you can play around. Being able to donk your opponent is something that you have to, it's going to happen to you, once every 10 games. What I like about this for Archaladon is that, Archaladon on paper reads like a good card. It powers itself up. It has a lot of HP, so it's hard to knock out. But the problem is that it's capped at 220, which is an okay number to hit. It's not great. But with the Poison Package, you're able to, you sacrifice a lot of, at least with these Poison Archaladon decks, you're sacrificing consistency in the cards that you play for more power, which I think is fine. A trade-off for where we're playing right now. 260 is a relevant number. You knock out Goldango, you knock out Raging Bolt. You have some room for tricks. There's a Badoo in here. The Petrarch EX is interesting technology. I enjoy that as well. It gives you an opportunity to poison your guys, or it gives you a way to get your dark guys into the active, your Petruns.
Well, that's why the deck is also cringe, because they, when you put up a 1 prizer and say, okay, let me take some time here, then they just stall back with the baby Petron and knock out your baby Pokemon or your basic Pokemon, whatever you want to say. It's a cringe ass deck. Like it's just cringe.
Maybe I'm just cringe. I like poison stuff. So
You know what? I'll say. Shout out to status conditions. Status conditions are so back.
yeah.
They
Also,
were gone for a minute.
the fork Carmine in here is sick. It's clearly it's just like your game plan is just to like get through your deck as fast as possible, whether to donk or just like get your board set up. So fun stuff. The secret box is cool technology. I like this deck a lot. So I'm on our channel on Enjoyer. Let's talk about everybody's favorite pile of bulk too. I found the highest placing Raging Bolt list, played by Christian Fontenot, and also played by All Out Blitzel, James Kowalski. Another deck that kind of just fell flat on its face, and I think considering how good Gardevoir was going into day two, kind of makes sense now. I thought Raging Bolt was pretty well positioned going into the weekend, but the results say otherwise.
Yeah, a lot of people that did play it just kept referring to how busted baby Raging Bolt was. Considering playing two, I can see that being in the list moving forward. I still think Slitherwing is really good. I'm not surprised not to see Koraidon. I think Koraidon is the worst attacker of the bunch.
It's not great.
Because Koraidon does everything Slitherwing can do, and why play both of them? That's kind of what I was always thinking in our testing anyway. I get it, like Slitherwing will eventually knock it out, but I don't know. I really think Slitherwing and Raging Bolt, the baby one, that's fine. Overall, though, it's like you always say, a big beat stick, and I think the format right now is like a little more too technical for it. I know Mike is gonna chime in any second now, but
he's talking.
A lot of our I'm sure I'm looking at the list, but a lot of the our friend group that played it felt kind of weird about it, kept kind of tweaking it over and all, and no one could really figure out what the best way to play it was. I will say though, Mike, this list is playing Squawk and Ditto. I was right about a few things. It sounds like this weekend.
There's that broken clock again. But
Yep.
Blood Moon Luna, also a good choice in here. Mike also is talking about Booster Capsule. I think Charlie Locklear also played a Booster Capsule in his Raging Bolt deck. So I don't know. I think what's it called? Do I have Charlie's? I think I have Charlie's list up here. I can find it real quick though. But I think the deck is well positioned. I just think it was just kind of again, I don't think Gardevoir is going to get played into troves that like it was. That like we said, that deck is still like really hard to navigate. But I'll pull up Charlie's list real quick before I forget it. Yeah, 72nd place. So
both, but like it was that one night that I was like, if you're playing Squawk, why not play Ditto? It's easier to find it.
Yeah,
But,
the Boosty Capsule's good. I like that a lot. So
Booster Capsule, I do like as well, just because also, I think anytime you can get rid of status conditions now, like I said, status conditions, I think it's good. I don't know. I think like moving forward, we're gonna see a lot of things to get around status conditions. But yeah, I also kind of agree that Guardy will be prevalent in Milwaukee, but
it's going to be very
more so,
popular.
the conversion rate into day two is going to be
Sure. Yeah.
a lot better. I still think day one, it might not be on the screen again. Because I'm telling you, a lot of people, when they pick up the list, are going to be like, I don't understand why this is good. Because it's not an easy deck to play.
Yeah.
Also, it's really hard to get wins. I mean, one thing that I realized, maybe I have to stop winning faster game one. I won first 3 games. I won the first game. And then when the opponent, I won the coin toss too. So going second, when I was going first, I lost those games and didn't have enough time because you draw out the game in game 2 when I go first because I'm not giving you a 2-prize board. It takes a long time to beat Guardy. So like, I don't know.
You got to play your second game slower, bruv. That's what you got to do.
That's it.
Like winning fast is fine. You gotta play. You gotta. It's like that scene in the end of The Incredibles, where like Dash finally gets to race, and it's just like, yo, he's like, oh, slow down, oh, don't give up. Let's like, make it close. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
No one, yeah, but when I was playing the game ones, like I was winning very fast, and then game two, it was taking them a long. Like I lost game two a lot of the times. When we were going to game three, there was only 2 minutes left on the clock, so
sure.
it's hard. I mean, I just gotta keep playing the deck. I'm probably playing it to NFT. I don't see.
Let's not get carried away. We don't know what the meta looks like yet, so.
Yeah, and I think we kind of wrapped up everything on Atlanta.
Well, hold on. There's still a couple more things I want to touch on. Bro, we're live stream. We got nothing but time, bro. We got nothing but time. What rush are you in? So
my bad.
all right.
My fault.
We can't move on without show. Again, there's a little section in our doc called Friends of the Show. We would be failed to mention. Let's talk about Andrew real quick. Playing Brownsburg, that deck is broken real. Andrew switched to the 11th hour to Dragapult. The crash out where Andrew did his Andrew did his thing where he was kind of like, am I gonna make day 2 again? And he did. So kudos to him. With the Klefki, a Brock scouting, which is a choice.
Yeah.
I guess you could either play Brock scouting or Jock. I think both of those. Well, and Andrew played both, so good on him. So
I think double Jock is probably better. I think he would also agree. Double Jock.
Double Jock is probably better. So good stuff on Andrew's part, keeping the streak alive. Now, if he does it at NAIC, then we have to kill him. So just sacrifice him or something.
Oh wait, hold up. Are we getting? Do you see this in the chat here? Are we getting a live money match offered on the table here?
You guys can figure this out on your own time. But
not me trying to figure out how to make a money match overlay that we could put on the Squawk and C's Twitch now.
Jesus Christ.
I'll figure it out, man. I don't know. For some reason, I can kind of figure. We got to figure out these video configurations a little bit and the chat on the side. But I think we can ultimately we can start doing some live stuff. I could be your commentary, Brady. I could be your fellow caster.
Yeah, we can touch on that another time. We can do. We'll talk about that in our quarter 3 meeting. So.
You don't sound very excited casting.
I'm trying to host a podcast, George. It's like, rein it in. Come on, bring it in here. All right. One of the last 2 lists I'll talk about here. Matt Walter, local in the area. Matt popped off with the top 64 finish with Goldengo to Dunsparce, which I think a lot of what I see in the list here, this was a Goldengo. I think the most popular partner was Goldengo. It's an interesting choice to say the least, but there's one baby Dango, there's one big Dunsparce in here. I've been playing a Rocky Helmet, a split of the stadiums, so pretty standard stuff. This is around a list that I was kind of playing for a little bit. So again, gotta give him his kudos. Playing the split of the 2 gimme ghouls makes sense. I think the continuous coin toss one, you can knock out a Badoo, I guess, if you're getting item blocked. You're not just sitting there spinning your wheels.
But where's the Faulkner?
Yeah, it's lacking Faulkner. No aura.
Faulkner.
I'll tell you what does have aura, though. I did have to showcase this. It's this 92nd place list from Ben Hayes that this bro took the Greninja Blaziken Zoroark deck and got top 128 with it. It's kind of gas.
What the hell is this?
Yeah, you charge. You can use the Blaziken, the power of your Greninja. You can snipe the bench. You play one Reshiram here so you can hit shit with the Zoroark. This deck is fucking sick. It's a complete cheeks, but it's pretty fire.
I don't know about this.
Play it on live. It's actually pretty fun. So
good for him.
I think it's cool. I think it's
It's definitely unique. It's definitely interesting.
This deck.
I still think Greninja EX is a cool card. I think it's overlooked a lot. So
if you showed me this deck when I was in the 6th grade, it would be my favorite deck of all time because it's this is every middle school kid's favorite list of Pokemon. Like, I love Blaziken, I love Greninja, I love Zoroark. There's just like cool, edgy, like hot topic Pokemon.
Is this just like the Gen Z, not Gen Z, Gen 3 list?
I guess, yeah. Well, Zoroark's Gen 5, so he's playing for the
So
future.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
you don't.
I have no idea. No.
And the last list that I put on here is the list that I would have played if I went to Atlanta. Aiden Crosby was playing the Goldengo Scizor EX combination with a Brute Bonnet as your way to get through Pikachu and Terrabox. Yo, what's up, Mike? My other buddy, Mike, that another content creator guy. Thanks for coming through to the podcast. Yeah, this is a list that was passed to me on a table. Mr. Michael Bio passed the goods to me in exchange for some, for some currency. And by currency, I mean Goldengo cards. This is a list that kind of, I think PokeHive posted this, and I think like some other content creators were like doing pieces on this as using Brute Bonnet and Goldengo as your way to get through, Terrabox and walls. And also it does set up some relevant math where like you can do 200 to an Ogerpon. You have the toxic powder procced, and then they die in between turns from poison, so you don't proc Fez. Yeah. So it's nifty. The only difference is that I was playing Pokemon League Headquarters. This list is playing Jamming Tower. I think Jamming Tower is probably the better tool going forward because you give yourself a chance into Gardevoir. So if I were to go to Atlanta, this would have been like a list similar to what I would have played. So Scizor is a good wall breaker. It's good. It's good.
Well with the list. Yeah.
I think it's really good still.
I think the Scizor EX makes it, But, one thing we didn't really touch on is kind of like the walls aspect.
Walls.
Roger on here, but Roger did have the highest placing wall at 440 something. Walls is pretty bad.
Tallest midget goes to Roger. Yeah. Good on him. So
can you say that? Can you say that in 2025?
Yeah, sure, whatever. Right. But yeah, Roger with the best of the worst as with the walls. I'll take the L on that one. I said walls was going to be good. I was wrong. It was complete garbage. So
it's not.
Yeah. So that's it for Atlanta. I think it's a good it feels so good being on the other side of this now because now there's a template. Now there's like. We have like proven examples of what works and what we can expect to be good and moving forward as we're kind of in this format for a little bit. But don't get too comfortable, folks, because NAIC is right around the corner. As registration at the time of this podcast will go up, will be coming up on Tuesday, April 22nd. So if you're on the East Coast, that's at 8 o'clock. So make sure you're locked in and ready. So that's coming up.
I took PTO.
Oh, the working man took some time off. How about that? Look at that. No George scrambling on his laptop while they're boarding us on the plane. He can actually relax for once. Who would have thunk?
Well, I've actually been working throughout this whole podcast right now.
Oh, this guy. What a freak you are. So yeah, NAIC is coming up soon. NAIC is going to be our first introduction with our next set, Destined Rivals, which features the likes of Cynthia's Garchomp, Ethan's Ho-Oh EX, and what I think everyone is most excited about, the Team Rocket cards coming out here. And I think we can now transition into our Squawker C's this week as we talk about how good the rest of these Team Rocket cards are going to be, George. So, are you ready to get into this week's segment? So
I am pulling it up right now.
So I linked the PokeBeach article that lists like all of them, and I don't know if they're all going to be in English or not, but let me see if I can find.
Yeah, there's a translations there.
Okay, I hope they're all here. So
yeah, they're all there. You're good.
Oh yeah, they are. Okay, thanks, man. All right. So yeah, the entirety of the Team Rocket set got revealed last week. I think it's dropping in Japan this Friday. I think is when it's going to be legal. So. That'll be a good telling of what's going to be good coming out in our format come NAIC. We can kind of see where things are going. So, George, I'll open the floor for you first. What would you like to squawk or seize here out of the revealed Team Rocket cards?
Team Rocket's Nidoking EX. Would you like me to read that for you? It is
Go for it.
Colorist, Dirty Horns. I doubt that's what it's going to be called. Sounds way too.
I don't know, but we got the dirty beam, so I mean,
Maybe you're right. I don't know. 100 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned, but then during checkup, put 8 damage counters on it. So if you add the Pearliest Jungle, it adds 2 more, so it could be 10. So effectively 200 throughout checkup. It's doing. Dark color, so it does 240. Just a basic attack.
beats it. I'm gonna seize this card, which kind of hurts me. I think Nidoking is so cool. This Pokemon, I think this is like a Pokemon that like is dying for like a really good playable card. The alt art for this card looks kind of sick. Some of the SARs has been like leaked online through some like live streams in Japan, and I think it's just like the attack cost is just so high on a stage 2 for that's without much reward. Like, yes, poison is cool. The SAR is peak. Yes, I agree with that, Andrew. But it's just like, I don't know, like 100 plus with some damage modifiers. Like, sure, you're still not hitting relevant numbers. A 4 energy attack cost, even with the Team Rocket's energy, is a lot, especially in a format without Dark Patch. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to be back streaming again, too. Happy to bring the show to you guys. But, yeah, I don't know. How are you feeling, George?
I would have squawked it. I think it's definitely interesting. Like I said, status conditions are so back. I think that you also go play with the Team Rocket's Watchtower, shutting off some abilities. If you're behind, if, you're playing with Brute Bonnet, you could use a Mochi package with it. There's ways to modify this. I think it's going to be a deck that we're gonna see in the future. Also, I kind of think it's really good with another card up here that I'll bring up that point later on.
Or I can just bring it up right now. Do you want to talk about the Team Rocket's Crobat EX?
Yeah, that was exactly where I was going with it.
And Harrell decided to chime in and also decided, I think we're all on the same wavelength here. Team Rocket's Crobat EX, 310 HP, Stage 2 Pokemon. With the Bite About ability, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may put 2 damage counters on 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. I believe this is like a pseudo reprint of like, I forget when this Crobat card came out back in the day, but like you could put...
It was an SP card.
It was an yeah. It was forever ago, but like I think that's 3 to 1. I think it's 3 damage counters to 1 Pokemon. I think that's what that Crobat did. This one's 2 to 2. And it's got for Dark, it's got the Assassin's Return attack, 120 damage, and you put this Pokemon back in your hand and you discard all attached cards. It was XY. Okay. Yeah, it's tough, but I think I'm gonna squawk this one. I think there's enough like stuff that puts damage counters all over the place that I think something like this can be effective. And like you said, you're doing an okay amount of damage, and you're also taking a liability off the board, which I think is also interesting to say the least.
Yeah, but I don't know how many times you're actually going to attack with it. And you also have to discard all the cards attached. So if you do have a Rocket's energy on it, you use it, you're losing that energy as well. I don't know. I don't know if it's how good it's going to be. I know it's going to be in decks, and like what Carell is saying is probably correct. Like it's going to damage on things. It's a tough one. I think it's going to support the next card that I'm going to bring up to fix damage. I don't know how much with Nidoking. I mean, I'm sure like doing 220 is also effectively going to be a thing with a lot of these Terra Pokemon being at 210, especially the Ogerpons. But, we kind of bring up the main event one here with Mewtwo's Team Rocket's Mewtwo, the Power Saver ability. This Pokemon can attack unless there's 4 more Team Rocket Pokemon in play. And then it does, 160, discard up to 2 energy cards from your bench Pokemon to attack to 60 more. So being able to do 280 and then fixing it to get to 300. And then, maybe if you have a poison package in there or some other modifier, you can knock out some of these big stage 2 Pokemon. I think that's where the Golbat can really fix it. But overall, Squawk or C's Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX, Kyle.
I'll Squawk it. I think this card is obvious. Like, Mewtwo is, again, one of those, like, Mount Rushmore mascot Pokemon where, like, I think they want to try to make this card as good as possible. They tried with Mewtwo V-Star, which is a card that I liked for a while, but that card stunk up the place. Andrew also makes the point that Max Belt could also be a card you play in here as well with Mewtwo. But I think this card reads like a good card. I think 280 is relevant math. It's got 280 HP as a basic Pokemon, so like it's going to be really hard to knock this now. But now you run into some problems, obviously, with the Power Saver ability. You have to play it with. You have to build your deck around Team Rocket's Pokemon, which I think, on one hand, creates some interesting deck building challenges that you might have to endure, which I think is interesting. But at the same time, it's like you're kind of limiting yourself of like other really good Pokemon you can play, like Squawk or Fez or other consistency cards. Not that I don't think the Rocket's Engine is going to need it, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I think I'm curious to see how the people are going to fix this one. I think they obviously want to pair this with like the Spidops, to Team Rocket Spidops, which also has a sick looking SAR, by the way. I don't know if you saw that one online or not, but looks fucking sick. But I'm going to Squawk it. I think this card reads good. I think it's going to be, I think a lot of people are going to try to make this one work.
Yeah, I'm also squawking that one too. I mean, like 280 HP as a basic, kind of enough said right there, right? It's going to be hard to deal with, and Team Rocket's energy is going to be really good moving forward too. You know what we're going to see a lot of with when this format comes out is probably Enhanced Hammer. That's definitely going to be probably pretty important against Team Rocket decks.
Special energy is going to be big again, so it's possible.
Yeah, and especially Team Rocket's energy is very powerful. And, being able to do that and having to get rid of the Team Rocket's energy, finding it again, obviously there's plenty of ways with the trainers that we're going to talk about in a bit. But Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX is definitely going to be a deck that you're going to see heavily played in NIC. And I think we're going to start seeing it pretty soon being played in Japan. So we're going to have a good idea of what it's going to look like in the next coming weeks, which is very exciting.
Yep, and I think I'll piggyback that off to the two new trainers that I think are the most interesting in this set. And we'll do both of them at the same time because they're both stadium cards. Let's talk about these that just came out. Let's do the Team Rocket's Factory. It's a stadium card where it reads, once during each player's turn, when that player plays a supporter with Team Rocket in its name in their hand, they may draw 2 cards. And the Team Rocket's Watchtower, both players' colorless Pokemon in play have no abilities. Both of these cards are freaking insane. The Team Rocket's Factory, I think, is a super Squawk. I'm gonna Squawk this. I'm gonna give it 5 big squawks. Squawk, 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 squawk. Like, this card is insanely good when you look at the power level of these Team Rocket supporters. You can put this down turn 1 and you can play your Team Rocket's Bridget, which you can find your 3 basic Pokemon, draw 2 cards. You play Team Rocket's Giovanni, you gust and you switch, draw 2 cards. You play the one that lets you draw 8 cards. And if you play all 8 Team Rocket's or you play all Team Rocket's Pokemon, you draw 10. Then it turns into a draw 12. It's freaking crazy. So that's a Squawk for sure.
That's so busted. I mean, the other one is kind of just let's bring Path to the Peak back, and but it's, only for colorless, right? Pokemon. So
yeah.
What is that really stopping? Just Noctowl?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked, George, because I compiled the list here. Oh, did George's camera freeze? Did I freeze? Did we die? Oh, you're back. Sorry, did I squawk too hard? Did I 5 big squawks too hard?
I think you broke it. Yeah, you squawked too much there.
No, it's fine. All right, so I'm glad you asked about the colorless Pokemon because I've compiled a list of really good colorless Pokemon in the format right now. Fan Rotom's the first one that comes to mind. Great consistency card. Noctowl is one that comes to mind. Good consistency Pokemon. Blood Moon Ursaluna. a good, one of the best closing attackers in the format right now. Good card. The deck started playing the Dunsparce. The Dunsparce, no longer a draw engine if you have it in play. Pidgeot EX. You can't search. You can't.
Not my
And
Pidgeot.
we're forgetting the big one, George. You can't use Squawkabilly.
Yeah, can't use the mascot.
There's a lot of really good.
That's only turn 1 if they're going second.
May I remind you of turn 1 Path to the Peak, sir?
Yep.
We all know how good that was. I do because I played Mew VMAX. That card sucks. It's
Really
good.
good points you're making there, Kyle. You're making this. So yeah, both of these.
It was really good.
Stadiums are busted, bro.
I also love the people that are cooking with like the Slacking EX with the Born to Slack ability. You can turn off your Born to Slack and you can just like start doing 280 to everything without your opponent having EXs in play, which I think is really funny. Born to get the work, baby. I'm squawking both of these cards. These are both absolutely insane. The Team Rocket's Pokemon have been like, for the most part, I'd say to most people, like a little underwhelming. Why is George so quiet? I can try jacking him up a little bit.
How about now? Am I still so quiet?
Yeah, you sound all right on my end. I could try to boost you in post. So this is what happens when you do a live show. So,
Okay, so it's better. I turned up my mic, so
yeah, both of these cards are busted. So I think you have to play at least like 2 or 3 of both of these stadiums at least. So, baby girl.
Baby girl.
All right, George. I had my brain aneurysm. Is there any other cards you want to introduce here for the Squawker Seas?
There was one other one. We talked about it on the last one, so I don't know if it's relevant to bring up. I brought up Mewtwo EX again. I think it's like relevant to bring up Mewtwo EX again when we're seeing the other cards. It does get a little bit better now that we see them.
Yeah.
We brought up the Tyranitar last time. Did we bring up the Mimikyu last time?
No, we didn't. We didn't.
Yeah. So Team Rocket's Mimikyu for Psychic, Colorless, Gem Mimicry.
Mimicry.
Was that correct? Okay.
Mimicry. Yeah, sure.
Choose an attack on your opponent's active Terra Pokemon and use it as the effect of this attack.
This is a hard one for me because I think when everybody like saw what this card was going to be, I think everybody got really excited. This card was like hinted at in like the product showcase, but the ability was cut off. So it was like the name of the attack was cut off, so we didn't know what it was going to entail. Obviously, copycat Mimikyu is a thing that used to exist. You copy your opponent's like basic GX's Pokemon attack or something. I forgot how that attack worked. Someone in the chat will remind me. I think though I'm gonna seize this one because as good as how good do you really think Terra Pokemon are gonna be? By the time the set comes out, it's really only gonna be Dragapult and maybe Charizard. Like, I think those are like the only. When I think of Terra, that's kind of it. So I don't really know how good this is gonna be.
No, I don't know. Like Dragapult, Charizard, not Tealmass Ogerpon, but
no, it's a Terra Pokemon, so I guess you can.
So if there's a lot, I guess it wouldn't really be that good.
But how good's Terra Box going to be? Like, I don't know. Like, it's tough.
I think the only other thing would be Torrential Pump with Water Pond, maybe. I'm trying to think because like you're gonna have Mewtwo in active, right? So what Terra Pokemon would want to knock out Mewtwo in active for you to follow up with this?
I don't know. Charizard? Maybe Charizard becomes good again because you have a grass weakness. You have a darkness weakness.
Charizard better be good again. I don't know what I'm
for your sake.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what other Dragapult, Charizard. Maybe Water Pond.
How about Arcanine EX, huh? Anybody into that?
No.
How about Dragonite EX? Anyone into that?
What about, Greninja EX kind of, right?
Oh, I guess Pikachu EX. Pikachu's but again,
Pikachu.
I just don't think Terra Box is going to be that good. So I don't know how good in a vacuum this card's going to be, so. I don't know. I'll seize
Yeah,
it.
I think it's going to be like a one of index, but I think it's mostly going to be used with Mewtwo.
All right. I am no longer ignoring the elephant in the room. I'm going to talk about it. And
Okay.
it's not on here as like a card we're getting in this set, which makes me kind of nervous. But I really hope we get it in Destin Rivals. There is the revelation that a Gym League promo in Japan coming up next is the 70 HP Psyduck card with the Dampen ability, which reads, and it's not on this list, but I did pull it up here. Your opponent's Pokemon in play cannot use abilities that knock themselves out, which is Pokemon Company's, once again, a direct response to them trying to nerf a card that exists in the format right now by putting a hard counter to it. This is basically a way to stop. I mean,
Fortress EX?
I was gonna say, is Fortress EX really that good that would have to print a counter for it? That's
so
kind of
weird that they countered that card out of all cards.
That's kind of lame.
So weird.
No, this is really good. I mean, obviously, like Dusknoir is a proven commodity to be really good right now. So I think a card like this is very healthy. It's Buddy, Poff, and findable. And now you give decks that, like, okay, you now give people the option. It's like when Manaphy and Jirachi, for that time where Lost Box was really good, existed at the same time. Decks now have an option of, like, okay, do I want to protect myself against Lost Mine? Do I want to protect myself against Moonlight Shuriken? So you can now either play the Shaman or you can play the Psyduck. I think this card's good. I think cards like this are healthy, so I'm going to squawk it. Also, yeah, I guess it shuts off Magneton also, so you can't use Overvolt Discharge. So,
Oh
Andrew,
my god.
what are we going to do?
Oh, actually, no. That actually is actually a good point. I didn't think about that card. I'm just proud of us that we both thought of Fortress EX right away.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
that card stinks.
That card's so bad. Yeah, I mean, it is healthy. It is good. It gives me like the Sandshrew vibes, like the one of Sandshrew index.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it's going to be played.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. Again, I think like decks that get kind of I just think this is good in a format where, again, Dusknoir is going to continue to be good. I don't know. Again, maybe Dragapult. Does this power creep Dragapult out of the top? I don't know. I think it depends on how the rest of these Rocket cards kind of formulate themselves. But I think it's a good card.
How much HP is it going to have?
Yeah, 70.
So, I mean, it still can be knocked out with Hulucha Ping, Phantom Dive. So,
but then you can play the Golduck that has the same ability. So it's an option. It's an idea. I think that's kind of cool.
Kind of cool, kind of sick.
I think this is big for. I forget who made a point of this. I think it was like Sander Wojcik. He made a point of this online where this is really good for control decks because Dusknoir was like inherently bad for the control decks because it makes them take prize cards. So I think this, again, it's just another wrinkle for decks to play around a card that is obviously very overtuned in standard format right now. So
yeah, if we get it for NIC, brain busting, and it's gonna be really hard to figure out what that format's gonna look like before that weekend. But
yeah, it's gonna be tough,
right?
Yep,
that's why we play the game. So
that's what we're here to figure out. But yeah, that's gonna be it for Squawk and Seas this week. I think we did pretty good on that one. So Team Rocket cards are good, man. I think I'm really excited to see what these deck lists are gonna look like. So that way we can actually kind of start like planning for what NAIC is gonna look like, because I think all of us really want to. Some of us have to do well because our World's Invite might depend on it. But I also
my World's Invite is
I can't wait to get top 4 at NAIC and then not go to Worlds because I have to work that week or quit my job. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out.
Would you quit your job if you top 4'd NIC and
absolutely
had
not
to work?
Absolutely not. I would call in sick to work. I would just simply make the other guy work by himself. I don't care. So I'm going to California, baby.
I have to respond to Nick here. I was very hungover on Sunday trying to play Guardy. That was Just
Oh,
my
man.
brain wasn't working.
I can't wait for NAC. I do have some fun content ideas I got to run past you when I see you tomorrow, George. I got some ideas of some fun stuff we could do.
I
So.
don't know if you're gonna see me tomorrow. I'm kind of pokeyed out.
Oh, brother! This guy's... Bro pays his taxes and doesn't want to come play Pokemon now? All right, I see how it is. So it's...
I'm so tired, man. I don't
You
know.
say that now, but then I'll see you tomorrow, man. We're going to go to Applebee's
TBD.
tomorrow, right?
No, I'm boycotting Applebee's. They signed with Toast.
So we're going to Applebee's.
No.
We'll figure that
Chili's,
out
maybe,
later.
though. Maybe chill. Maybe Chili's.
We'll figure
All
it
right.
out.
We'll see.
All right. I think we did pretty good today.
The only thing is, I'll say, the only thing that's making me want to go is because I am playing in a case tournament on Saturday.
Oh, yes. At Lumen HQ.
Yeah, literally, I think it's right near there.
I think it's at the place.
No way. Are you serious?
I think it is. Yeah. Isn't that the draw of it?
I don't know. I actually have no idea. That's actually a great question. But we had a missed opportunity there to get off track a bit. That there was a pop up where the cast was there. That they've put everything at Lumen HQ earlier this month.
Yeah, I'm kind of mad that I missed that. I
didn't even know about it.
I just stay working on Saturdays, bro. My life stinks. I have to miss the case tournament. My life
Yeah, but that being
sucks.
said, since I'm playing in that case tournament, I'm definitely, and I probably should get some reps with it. So
Yeah. Well, good luck to you. Hopefully George F knows how to play Gardevoir. So
because it's my innie.
yeah, you got to lock in, bro. Can we get those Lumen shirts for NAIC? I think that'd be really funny.
I want to make Squawk shirts for next
We
week.
should. I think we should.
Yeah.
I think we should.
We need Squawk merch. We need Squawk merch, maybe Squawk hat, Squawk fanny packs, maybe.
I wore a Squawk shirt. Count me in. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, that's all I got for this week. Any other closing thoughts on the week, George?
I don't know. I'm curious to see what the feedback is on live. I think when we get the chat going up and fixing the overlay a bit, I think this is a way more fun way to do the show. I think it was cool interacting with the chat. I would love to see us get some more interaction in the future and maybe get people coming into the Discord and actually debating us or chatting with us or just being more a part of the show and getting more interaction.
Yeah, I think definitely something we can work towards the future. It was a test. The test run I think went off pretty well today. So, and it gives me an excuse to stream more again because I've been trying to get more into that. So I might try to do a stream on Thursday if I got time. Maybe not. We'll see what happens. But
yeah, maybe stream some money matches. We're gonna start cooking more content.
Yep.
Sure. And then the vlog should be next week.
yeah,
Right? Are we gonna do
no podcast next week. Next week's episode is gonna be the vlog. So.
Just only the vlog. Okay.
We're only going to do the vlog next week. So no podcast next week. There will be a vlog coming out soon after I sift through the footage. So
Maybe we could just stream some games between you and I next
yeah,
week. Then.
we can do that. I think it sounds like fun. All right, cool. So that's going to be it for us this week. George, let the people know where they can find you.
Pony Bottle Champ. I also have a Twitch I might be going live with more moving forward. It's also, I don't know if I spelled it out, Pony Bottle Champ or not, or PNYBTL Champ. But also, I'm on the X platform. Been trying to tweet a lot more. Will not be tweeting my list again that I did so poorly with, but yeah, check me out on there. Kyle, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter, everywhere else at a promote YouTube, Twitch. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it, bud. I'm at Koopa NJ across platforms. Like, y'all know where you can find me. I'm out here doing stuff. I got some things going on, so I'm gonna be streaming more. I got to figure out a schedule that works for Moy. Tuesdays and Thursdays may be my days, or maybe Mondays and Thursdays. I'll figure something out. I just want to start making content again now that I'm like able-bodied and I finish all of my TV shows. I have nothing else to do, and I want to like get my content game up a little bit more because I have some thoughts. I like playing fun decks, And
Yep.
check us out here. Follow and sub and all that fun stuff on Twitch. And check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Spotify. And thanks for joining us for our first live episode, folks. And until then, we'll see you guys next week. Not next week. We'll see you in 2 weeks for more Squawk and Seas. So,
and the recording will be out on Friday.
The recording will be out on Friday. Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Good night, everyone. We'll see you guys next time.